Welcome to this episode of Let's Chat MetaPWR. Let me introduce you to Danika. Danika has a powerful story to share. And this is what caught my eye actually, was when I read a comment that she shared on socials about how she has the energy, the can-do attitude, that she mowed her yard, which she hadn't done willingly in over a year. Understandably, you've got a 6-month-old baby, you've been in pregnancy. But yeah, when I read that, I was like, we need to hear your story and what has brought on this energy. So, Danika, I'd love you to share with us, what was life like for you before you started on MetaPWR?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, I just do want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which I'm sitting on today, the Yagara and Yugurupul people, and extend that to where you're calling in from. So life for me before MetaPWR was quite interesting because two of my closest friends in the doTERRA business, and I have been as well since 2018. But going on maternity leave, I was a little bit scared of finances and things like this, but I knew that I needed something to help me, because being a solo mum and an older solo mum, things are a little bit harder to navigate with older energy levels. So when my friend came over from New Zealand, it was a good opportunity to start. However, what I think we talked about was the fact that because I am a solo mum, I have to be on all the time. And when I was on all the time, my brain was ticking overtime at that time. So it was hard to stay focused. It was hard to be able to plan out my day and fulfill all those things. Coming from a position of self-diagnosed OCD, I would look around the house and I'm like, I don't really have the energy to clean that. I was surface cleaning. I was doing all these things. I wasn't truly doing everything to the full throttle. And that was, while I was okay to do that because I do have a newborn, I really wanted to be able to nail motherhood. And I really wanted to make sure that I could keep my home clean. I could keep everything organized for her, make sure that I was giving her my everything. And I just wasn't able to because my brain was just so busy. So that's where I found when I did try the MetaPWR, the significant change there. Yeah, they were the main things I was battling with. I was overtired all the time. I couldn't sleep with her. Everyone says sleep when the baby sleeps. No, I could never nap anyway. So that was a challenge for me. And also the other biggest thing I think that I was really struggling with was my skin. I felt my skin was dry and dehydrated all the time and it was tight. And I wanted to feel good and look good at the same time, if you know, and that was getting me down a bit, I would say.
And was it only the change of taking MetaPWR that made all of these improvements?
I must admit, for the skin, I did go back to putting Yaropom and Celubel in with my moisturizer. The other thing was, I remember one of my friends, Jessie Buttons, used to use rose oil, or told me that she used rose oil on her under eyes. So I remembered that, and I got my rose oil out, and my eyes were starting to get really puffy and stand out quite a bit. So I must admit that has helped. But the softness of my skin and the elasticity of my skin has improved, I think, as a result of the MetaPWR, because I can tell I was using the other oils before that. Yeah.
That's amazing, because Bubba would have been taking nutrients from you and then you to see that actually you're glowing. Yeah. And was it a change in sleep?
Yep. So that's probably been the most unintended outcome that I didn't foresee. Yes, I wanted the energy. Yes, I knew that there was a chance that I would get this energy. But the sleep was the biggest thing for me, is that I've never been able to nap. And of having a baby and all that sort of made me extra more tired. Whereas now this morning we had a nice 2-hour nap together, and in the afternoons I can generally choose a contact napper still. So in the afternoons we lay down on the couch and I get to have a nap. So I think for me, the fact that MetaPWR really creates this mental clarity, I was constantly like scrolling on my phone all the time because my brain just wouldn't stop. So now I can go, you know what, put the phone down, I'm going to have a nap with my baby, and I get to do that.
Clearing that brain fog is every mother's dream.
Yeah, it's so good.
Can you talk us through what time of day were you taking the collagen sachets?
Yeah, so I take it in the morning. But what I really learned was, in order for me to be able to have that nap, to really set this new schedule for myself in order to, in the long run, have more energy, be able to accomplish more tasks during the day, such as mowing if I wish, if I look out there and my OCD says, you need to mow that yard, and if my mum's here or something, I can just give someone the baby and I'll get out there with my mower. It's really knowing what time is the best time for me. So in order for me to have my nap, I don't have it first thing in the morning. I do take a capsule, the MetaPWR Assist, before I have my breakfast, and then I go back to bed with the baby, have our morning nap, and then when I'm ready to start the day, I'll get my sachet, I'll drop a drop of oil in there as well. For me, it's more of a kickstart. Like, it might be 10 a.m. in the morning, but I'm going to start my day and we're off. So I found that's a good routine for me. I get worried that, because I know as soon as I have it, I'm like, I'm off to the shops, I'm off to do this. Even some days I'll say, I'm not going anywhere today. I'm going to stay home, I'm going to do all the laundry or something. Next minute, I'm ready to go out. So I know I have to make sure I've had my nap first, and then we have it. Which is, and I must say, I'm bad with tablets and stuff. So I think the fact that it's in a sachet and I can quickly drink it down makes it a lot easier for me to have it. So.
And was it easy for you to implement as a daily habit, or was it something you had to consciously remind yourself?
No, one of the biggest things that I was struggling with beforehand was coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker. Somehow it became my pregnancy craving, and it's now carried over, obviously, because I needed to stay awake and have energy. For me, it has replaced a need for coffee. So I think it's something that I've told myself is, I know that I need a kickstart, and that's what I do. There has been some days, I guess, where I've got up and just done everything I need to do and gone, oh crap, I didn't have it. But I already knew that, I guess I've already had it in my system enough that I still feel the energy, the stamina from it. But I then remind myself, no, you need to have it again. So then the next day it can carry me forward and things like that.
Yeah. Now, I remember you talking about the beadlets, the little tiny
Yeah.
oil.
Yes.
How do you use them in your day?
Yeah. So I guess, there are the number of things beforehand. Another big one was chocolate. Coffee and chocolate. I don't know, because I've never been a coffee and chocolate person before I fell pregnant. But because I was strapped for time, didn't really have the capacity to cook and have food readily available, I was constantly, like, I would eat chocolate for breakfast. I was buying like 4 packets of those mini chocolate bars like every week, and in the morning, in the middle of the night. Like, I was just constantly craving all this sugar. And one of my goals when I started, because I set myself 3 goals for the 30 days, and that was no chocolate, don't go out and buy those lavish loaded coffees and all these sorts of things. And I've stuck to that. Since July, I've not done those 2 things. I still don't buy chocolate for my house, those sorts of things. So what I have done is those beadlets, I have them in the house, but I also have them in the car. For me, it's really easy to slide through the drive-through and get my cream and ice cream loaded Zarappa, cold fusion, or run through a different drive-through to get some crappy food. And that's what I've done. So if I get that in the car particularly, I'll pop a beadlet and it kills it for me. I could probably do it more at home so I don't have an ice cream, but we'll do that next time. But yeah, that's for me, is that little thing of going, it is a craving. It's my body telling me, because I'm tired or something, I all of a sudden want sugar, when really I don't need it. So I try to really reach for that beadlet instead.
That's fantastic. And is it pretty immediate that it stops that craving?
It does. Literally for 2 or 3. There's one particular set of lights. If I go left, I'm going to Zarappa's. If I go straight, I'm going to my mother's house. And I always, by the time I get to that set of light, I'm reaching for my beadlet and I'll pop about 2 or 3 in my mouth, and I'm at my mum's house and straight away. So that for me is a deterrent, which is a really helpful one. And I, to be honest, I didn't even know how to use the beadlets when I got my bundle. So once I learnt that, I keep them with me.
That's great. That's such a great tip. And I think a lot of us would relate to what you said there. So when you started, did you commit to having a 30-day trial?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. And it was big. And when I talk to other people about it, I say, you know what, if you're not up for having one every day, that's fine. Because when I started, when my friend Liz was here, she was here for a week from New Zealand, and every other day she's like, do you want a sachet? And I'm like, yes. Even though before I was like, I'm on a budget, can't go down this road. And I guess that's how I really knew that that was the biggest thing, right? So I drove away from my mum's place around 12:30 one day, and I went, oh, I haven't had a coffee. And usually I would have had 2 or 3, and I hadn't bought chocolate. And so I was thinking, let's see how long. And that was up to 2 weeks I had the 3 sachets within a week, and so the next week I didn't have any, and those cravings were still being met. So for me, it was like, okay, let's see how long we can do this, and let's see if I do it intentionally, can I kick these habits or needs, like by making sure that I'm giving my body what it really needs instead of reaching out for that sugar. And I must admit, when I got to that second week and I was waiting for my order to hit, it was so hard. It was getting so hard to stop my hand looking for chocolate. I was like, nope, don't. Just wait one more day, another day, you'll have a sachet. So,
wow.
yeah.
So you really tell that it was the collagen.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
I didn't have the capsule, or I didn't have the beadlet or the oil. I only had the sachet. So I knew and I believed in the fact that really is something that would give me what I needed at that time.
Yes. And then talk us through the oil blend. How do you use that?
So the oil blend, I did have a couple of drops in my water this afternoon, just in case the sachet. I guess for me, the sachets really gives that slow burn energy, the stamina that can. It's not that peak and then you crash. It's more. Yes, I can still be doing things around 8 o'clock. When originally I was in bed by 7, making sure I was asleep by 8:30, so I can get my hours sleep. Whereas now I still have enough energy that I can get through my chores for the day and those sorts of things. Thought today, perhaps because we have this, I do have to be a bit more clearer. So I did use it in my water this afternoon. Otherwise, I really just put 1 or 2 drops in my mix with the sachet. Or, as I said, for today, if I know I need that extra kick in the afternoon, I might just put 1 in my water. And that's just how I use it. I know that I'm not active. I'm not ready at this stage to really bring a lot of exercise into my life yet. But I do hope that by January, February, I'm leaning on that oil a little bit more to maybe give me what I need to be exercising and stuff. But as I said, I'm trying to set those goals, and that isn't quite in my goal setting quite yet. But when I start, I have to go back to work in February. So I really want to use the start of the year as, well, what is the next for me? And that's what I'll be doing with the oil.
And that's the beauty of, it is called the active blend. You just reminded me.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this MetaPWR system, is that it'll target what you need help first. Yeah. And how did you notice the changes? Were you journaling or just self-reflection? Yeah.
So my friend was actually, she helped me prepare for today, and she was quite shocked that I'm not a note taker. And I was like, read your notes. I know I don't do that. So she was a little shocked, and I said, no, I already had it because I've been journaling my 30 days, and I hit the 30 days. It was actually mid-September, and now I'm just still noting a couple of the different changes. I guess, what are the known benefits that I knew to expect? And then I have a list of, I guess, those unintended benefits that I wasn't aware of. So really trying to do that. What I probably would share and what I've noticed is the difference between me and somebody else. Whereas I know that I want to improve my health by way of diet. So I want to reduce the sugar intake. I want to make healthier choices. So for me, that's helping me. I've never had my fridge more stacked with fruit and veg and high quality food. Now that I guess I'm budgeting and stuff, like I'm trying to work out what is the best for my health that is still within my budget and not going down the trap of having the sugar. Whereas someone else I know who's doing it hasn't quite knocked out the sugar because they don't want to. So I think that's what I've found is when I've set those intentional goals, I can focus on how it's changing in that area. And I guess perhaps another person that might not be a goal. But as you said earlier, they work to how you need them to work for you. So
powerful, isn't it? The power of intention. So setting your mind to the action of taking it. Maybe you can tell your friend that it's the MetaPWR that's helping you with the note. Yeah. It's the MetaPWR.
Well, I think what I say to people is set your goals when you're ready to start taking it. Set your goals so then you can focus on what it is that you want that product to help you achieve. And with the other people that perhaps, it hasn't nailed the things that it has nailed for me is, well, what are your goals? So I think that's something I'm going to take with me into my little my toolkit, is that when I am introducing other people into the world of MetaPWR, is to really be intentional. Set your goals. What is it that you want to achieve in 30 days? What is achievable, first of all? And then what is your more longer term goals, so that you can actually see if it's working or not? Because so many people, we do get caught up in this world of investing in this supplement and that supplement. But how do we know it's actually working if we're not setting some sort of goal or journaling in some sort of way to know that it's of benefit or not?
That's right. And even if it's not reaching that goal that you've set, you'll start to notice where it is having advantage.
Right. for me, the biggest shock was, oh my God, I'm actually napping. Like, I've always been jealous of all my friends that are like, I'm just going down for a kid. And I'm like, oh God, I wish I could. And all the people like sleep when the baby sleeps. I'm like, I can't. Whereas now I'm like, yes, I can. Yeah.
And what else would you say for new mums, especially with taking MetaPWR? Is there any other benefits?
Yeah, for me, it just creates so much clarity, right? So one thing I get stressed about a lot is at nighttime of putting my baby to bed. Is she going to be too hot? Is she going to be too cold? And I spend a lot of time like thinking about what outfit, like it creates space for you to actually go, I'm confident in my decision. I'm confident in my choices. Now, when I get up in a day, I know that, say, if I knew tonight I had to be ready and online by 7:30, so I could literally work back my time to say, right, at 5 o'clock, I need to have her dressed and ready for bed in hope that I could get her to sleep beforehand, have dinner ready and sorted. So for me, it's in greater intention, I guess, moving with purpose. So I'm not just doing everything by the fly, like going back into the room 3 times because I forget why I was even going in there. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can literally probably do 3 things at once because I've already thought through, these are the things I really need to get done right now before her sleep or before I get out of the house. That for me is, it slowed everything down. I'm not overthinking. I'm not scrolling all the time. I'm not doing the numbing sort of things. I can actually move with intention and move with purpose. So
I think actually that applies to all ages and all genders, and not just mums. We all want that clarity.
100%. And I guess being a solo mum too, it's extra important. Like, someone's got to cook, someone's got to maintain the house, somebody's got to keep her right, especially when she's sick. As we just got out of a 2.5 weeks, but still, how do I make sure that I'm eating well, she's eating well, the house is clean, those sorts of things. And it does give that clarity to be able to juggle that many things and not be overworked and burnt out.
Yeah, it makes sense. Our metabolic health connected to our digestive health and connected to our mental health and wellness. And yeah, just wonderful to hear how you've seen it make these changes and what's ahead. Who knows?
I'm going to be in the gym. That's exactly where I'm going to be.
We do know. January, February, ready to February next year. Yeah.
That's where you'll find me. I was quite a gym junkie before, so it does weigh on my mind a little bit that I want to, especially being an older mum, like the impact of pregnancy on the body, being able to gain control back there is definitely something. So I do hope that our system can help me achieve that, and I do believe it will.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to where you're saying you're budgeting and also that you're buying less coffees, less chocolate, and then you look at the price of the MetaPWR system broken down daily. Have you found that you're actually saving money?
Yeah. When I'd go to Zarafas, and I was going there nearly every day, I was spending up to $10 on one drink. And if you look at just the sachets, or it's between $3.30 and $3.50, I think I calculated per day by buying a box for the month. And for me, that's less than the coffee I was buying. And the coffee really wasn't doing much for me, apart from adding a few kilos around my waistline and just fulfilling that immediate need of that sugar. So for me, it does work out, because I do get a bit worried about those sorts of things. And I'm able to say to somebody now who is keeping them going by coffee, is actually it's cheaper than a coffee. And you only need 1 sachet versus 2-3 coffees. So
yeah,
that's how I work it out. And buying the sachets on their own versus buying the bundle up front, what is better value for money is the bundle. And that way you can see what works for you. Obviously, the capsules are another thing. Like, do you need them? Why don't you trial it first? And then if you don't, then you can drop down. If that's what your budget allows and that's what you really want, is try it out first. The dollar value between the bundle and the box, it's very close.
Good tip. Very good tip. Are you finding that you're using the capsules?
I'm terrible at taking tablets. I tried the LLV system. I've tried Terrazine. I've tried PB Assist. I've tried all of them, and I just can't keep to it. What I have done is at least have one in the morning. So baby usually wakes up around 6. I'll pop it then. And then by the time she's had a feed and those sorts of things, I'm up ready to have breakfast. And then if I am at home and I know that I'm going to eat an exceptionally heavy carb loaded food, then I will. But as I said, for me, it's the time before that gets a bit tricky for me, is that I need to know when I'm going to eat, so then I know when to have the capsule. And that's something I just probably haven't been able to balance quite yet, because I sort of just eat when I can. But I definitely have it in the morning. And I'll tell you though, one day I was driving back from somewhere. I think we had a lunch date or something, and I was driving and I was thinking of, wow, I was ready to have a nap. I was like, I hadn't felt that for so long because I knew that my most heavy carb meal was in the morning. So I hadn't felt that dip in probably a week or two, and I really noticed it.
So just having it daily, that repetitive morning, doesn't matter that it's close to the meal or with the meal or before or after, is enough by the sound.
Yeah.
And it also shows how easy the collagen sachets are, hey, that you can just
So easy.
So much easier.
And I have to have it on my kitchen bench where I spend, if I'm anywhere. Like I do have a cabinet that's got oils all through there, but I found like I don't intentionally turn around to have it. I need it in front of me. So I use a electric whisk. So I've got it all there in my oil. So when I get up in the morning, even if I feel like I probably might forget if it's been a long night, when I get up to make breakfast, I put it in the middle. So when I come out the next time, it's smack bang right there. You can't forget. So.
Maybe that's why they've made it bright orange too. For that.
You can't miss it.
You can't miss it. It's like having a little one. You can't miss them. They're right. You've done so well to get her to sleep. We can chat like this more often if you like. It helps.
Good. I actually will say the other thing I've noticed too, and this is probably for mums, is it actually has helped my breastfeeding journey. It has. I feel like because I'm more energized, it's not draining me as much, and my supply. I just have noticed a change, and I don't know if it's because of my diet as well that's enabling this better flow through my body, but I have noticed that there is a significant improvement in that part of motherhood, and I do think it's since I started taking MetaPWR. So
that's so good to hear. And yes, it is safe to take in pregnancy and breastfeeding, so that's reassuring.
Yes.
Is there anything else I know you prepared for tonight and looking through your notes, is there anything else you wanted to?
I actually didn't look at my notes one bit. So probably the other thing I would say is, I guess, just the stamina that it's provided me, that I can actually do deeper cleans. I can do more attentive things. So, and again, that the mental clarity is such a broad scope. So for me, I've noticed it in all aspects. The phone, the scrolling, paying more attention to my child and making sure that even though I'm tired, I am focused. But it's also made me go, like, you can take 5 minutes to clean the patio properly or get out there and mow the yard. It's connecting the stamina to the thought for me. So that's probably the only other thing that I noticed. Oh, two things. Water intake. I think because once I have the MetaPWR, I'm off. I probably am less likely to drink water. So one thing I have done in the last probably 2 weeks or something is really making sure I've got my water. I used to be quite a large water drinker, and I've noticed that I just forget about it now. So that's probably a message to somebody that's going on this journey. Make sure you're keeping up your water, because even though your stamina and your energy is there, you need the water.
Stay hydrated. You might find that it takes you on that effortlessly too, because for me personally, I started drinking water. I went the other way.
Oh, did you?
Water. But do you take the drops in your water?
No, I usually put it in with my sachet, which is probably different. I find my baby always wants to drink out of my glass. So I have to be, if I have put it in there, I have to remember she's got to drink out of her sippy cup, not out of my glass.
So grown up already at only 6 months. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Danika. It's been a pleasure to hear your story and to also know that what you're sharing is inspiring other mothers. Thank you.
And thank you for asking me to come on. It's really nice. So.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.